Hi, family. This is day 88 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're in the book of 2 Samuel, and we're covering chapters 8 through 11. Now, where we are right now is that David has officially become king over all of Israel, all 12 tribes. Israel. I'm getting my Hebrew and my English all mixed up together. Israel. So he's over all of the tribes, and he's the king, and he's been anointed, and he brought the Ark of the Covenant into Jerusalem. Jerusalem is now his main hang, and he's talked to God about building a temple. God says, I've been happy in my tent, but don't worry, I'll let one of your descendants build me a temple, and I'll establish his kingdom forever. And we take a little messianic out of that. That's fine. That's also very practical with Solomon, the next king in line, and things like that. But that's where we are right now, and so let's see how that plays out a little bit today. After this, David struck the Philistines and subdued them, and David took the bridle of the mother city out of the hand of the Philistines. He defeated Moab and measured them with the line, making them to lie down on the ground, and he measured 2 lines to put to death, and 1 full line to keep alive. The Moabites became servants to David and brought tribute. David also struck Hadad-Etzer, the son of Rechov, king of Zovah, as he went to recover his dominion at the river. David took from him 1,700 horsemen and 20,000 footmen. David hamstrung the chariot horses, but reserved enough of them for 100 chariots. When the Syrians of Damascus came to help Hadad-Etzer, king of Zovah, David struck 22,000 men of the Syrians. Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus. And the Syrians became servants to David and brought tribute. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. David took the shields of gold that were on the servants of Hadad-Etzer and brought them to Jerusalem. From Betah and from Berotai, cities of Hadad-Etzer, King David took a great quantity of bronze. When Toi, king of Hamath, heard that David had struck all the army of Hadad-Etzer, then Toi sent Joram, his son, to King David to greet him and to bless him, because he had fought against Hadad-Etzer and struck him. For Hadad-Etzer had wars with Toi. Joram brought with him vessels of silver, vessels of gold, and vessels of bronze. King David also dedicated these to Yahweh, with the silver and gold that he dedicated of all the nations which he subdued, of Syria, of Moab, of the children of Ammon, of the Philistines, of Amalek, and of the plunder of Hadad-Etzer, son of Rechov, king of Zovah. David earned a reputation when he returned from striking down 18,000 men of the Syrians in the Valley of Salt. He put garrisons in Edom. Throughout all Edom he put garrisons, and all the Edomites became servants to David. Yahweh gave victory to David wherever he went. David reigned over all Israel, and David executed justice and righteousness for all his people. Joab, the son of Zeruiah, was over the army. Jehoshaphat, the son of Achilud, was recorder. Zadok, the king of Achituv, and Achimelech, the sons of Abiathar, were priests. Seraiah was scribe. Benayahu, the son of Jehoiada, was over the Kerethites and the Pelethites, and David's sons were chief ministers. David said, "Is there yet any who is left of Shaul's house, that I may show him kindness for Jonathan's sake?" There was of Shaul's house a servant whose name was Ziva, and they called him to David, and the king said to him, "Are you Ziva?" He said, "I am your servant." The king said, "Is there not yet any of Shaul's house, that I may show the kindness of God to him?" Ziva said to the king, "Jonathan still has a son, who is lame in his feet." The king said to him, "Where is he?" Ziva said to the king, "Behold, he is in the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, in Lo-debar." Then King David sent and brought him out of the house of Machir, the son of Amiel, from Lo-debar. Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan, the son of Shaul, came to David, fell on his face, and showed respect. David said, "Mephibosheth?" He answered, "Behold, your servant." David said to him, "Don't be afraid, for I will surely show you kindness for Jonathan, your father's sake, and will restore you all the land of Shaul, your father. You will eat bread at my table continually." He bowed down and said, "What is your servant, that you should look at such a dead dog as I am?" Then the king called to Ziva, Shaul's servant, and said to him, "All that belonged to Shaul and to all his house I have given to your master's son. Till the land for him, you, your sons, and your servants. Bring in the harvest, that your master's son may have bread to eat. But Mephibosheth, your master's son, will always eat bread at my table." Now Ziva had 15 sons and 20 servants. Then Ziva said to the king, "According to all that my lord the king commands his servant, so your servant will do." So Mephibosheth ate at the king's table like one of the king's sons. Mephibosheth had a young son whose name was Micah. All who lived in Ziva's house were servants to Mephibosheth. So Mephibosheth lived in Jerusalem, for he ate continually at the king's table. He was lame in both his feet. After this, the king of the children of Ammon died, and Hanun, his son, reigned in his place. David said, "I will show kindness to Hanun, the son of Nahash, as his father showed kindness to me." So David sent by his servants to comfort him concerning his father. David's servants came into the land of the children of Ammon. But the princes of the children of Ammon said to Hanun their lord, "Do you think that David honors your father in that he has sent comforters to you? Hasn't David sent his servants to you to search the city, to spy it out, and to overthrow it?" So Hanun took David's servants, shaved off one half of their beards, and cut off their garments in the middle, even to their buttocks, and sent them away. When they told David this, he sent to meet them, for the men were greatly ashamed. The king said, "Wait at Jericho until your beards have grown, and then return." When the children of Ammon saw that they had become odious to David, the children of Ammon sent and hired the Syrians of Beth Rehov and the Syrians of Zovah, 20,000 footmen, and the king of Maacah with 1,000 men, and the men of Tov, 12,000 men. When David heard of it, he sent Joab and all the army of mighty men. The children of Ammon came out and put the battle in array at the entrance of the gate. The Syrians of Zovah and of Rehov, and the men of Tov and Maacah were by themselves in the field. Now when Joab saw that the battle was set against him before and behind, he chose of all the choice men of Israel, and put them in array against the Syrians. The rest of the people he committed into the hand of Avishai his brother, and he put them in array against the children of Ammon. He said, "If the Syrians are too strong for me, then you shall help me. But if the children of Ammon are too strong for you, then I will come and help you. Be courageous, and let's be strong, for our people and for the cities of our God, and may Yahweh do what seems good to him." So Joab and the people who were with him came near to the battle against the Syrians, and they fled before him. When the children of Ammon saw that the Syrians had fled, they likewise fled before Avishai, and entered into the city. Then Joab returned from the children of Ammon, and came to Jerusalem. When the Syrians saw that they were defeated by Israel, they gathered themselves together. Hadad-Etzer sent and brought out the Syrians who were beyond the river, and they came to Chelam, with Shovak, the captain of the army of Hadad-Etzer, at their head. David was told that, and he gathered all Israel together, passed over the Yarden, and came to Chelam. The Syrians set themselves in array against David and fought with him. The Syrians fled before Israel, and David killed 700 charioteers of the Syrians and 40,000 horsemen, and struck Shovak, the captain of their army, so that he died there. When all the kings who were servants to Hadad-Etzer saw that they were defeated before Israel, they made peace with Israel and served them. So the Syrians were afraid to help the children of Ammon any more. At the return of the year, at the time when kings go out, David sent Joab and his servants with him and all Israel, and they destroyed the children of Ammon and besieged Rabbah. But David stayed at Jerusalem. At evening David arose from his bed and walked on the roof of the king's house. From the roof he saw a woman bathing, and the woman was very beautiful to look at. David sent and inquired after the woman. One said, "Isn't this Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, Uriah the Hittite's wife?" David sent messengers and took her, and she came in to him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness, and she returned to her house. The woman conceived, and she sent and told David, and said, "I am with child." David sent to Joab, "Send me Uriah the Hittite." Joab sent Uriah to David. When Uriah had come to him, David asked him how Joab did, and how the people fared, and how the war prospered. David said to Uriah, "Go down to your house and wash your feet." Uriah departed out of the king's house, and a gift from the king was sent after him. But Uriah slept at the door of the king's house with all the servants of his lord, and didn't go down to his house. When they had told David, saying, "Uriah didn't go down to his house," David said to Uriah, "Haven't you come from a journey? Why didn't you go down to your house?" Uriah said to David, "The ark, Israel, and Yehudah are staying in tents, and my lord Joab and the servants of my lord are encamped in the open field. Shall I then go into my house to eat and to drink, and to lie with my wife? As you live and as your soul lives, I will not do this thing." David said to Uriah, "Stay here today also, and tomorrow I will let you depart." So Uriah stayed in Jerusalem that day and the next day. When David had called him, he ate and drank before him, and he made him drunk. At evening he went out to lie on his bed with his servants of his lord, but didn't go down to his house. In the morning David wrote a letter to Joab, and sent it by the hand of Uriah. He wrote in the letter, saying, "Send Uriah to the forefront of the hottest battle, and retreat from him, that he may be struck and die." When Joab kept watch on the city, he assigned Uriah to the place where he knew that valiant men were. The men of the city went out and fought with Joab. Some of the people fell, even of David's servants, and Uriah the Hittite died also. Then Joab sent and told David all the things concerning the war, and he commanded the messenger, saying, "When you have finished telling all these things concerning the war to the king, it shall be that, if the king's wrath arise, and he asks you, 'Why did you go so near to the city to fight? Didn't you know that they would shoot from the wall? Who struck Avimelech the son of Yerubasheth? Didn't a woman cast an upper millstone on him from the wall, so that he died at Tevetz? Why did you go so near the wall?' Then you shall say, 'Your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead.'" So the messenger went and came and showed David all that Joab had sent for him. The messenger said to David, "The men prevailed against us, and came out to us in the field, and we were on them even to the entrance of the gate. The shooters shot at your servants from off the wall, and some of the king's servants are dead, and your servant Uriah the Hittite is also dead." Then David said to the messenger, "Tell Joab, don't let this thing displease you, for the sword devours one as well as another. Make your battle stronger against the city and overthrow it. Encourage him." When Uriah's wife heard that Uriah her husband was dead, she mourned for her husband. When the morning was past, David sent and took her home to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. But the thing that David had done displeased Yahweh. So we're seeing David as this conquering king who's very successful and getting rid of the people in the land, the promised land, who aren't supposed to be there, and cross cultural relationships and things like that. David is a very successful king, and he's establishing a good kingdom for Israel. But there's two stories in here that we're going to draw our attention to. The first one I really love, chapter 9, is about Mephibosheth. Mephibosheth is Jonathan's son. Now, if you remember, Jonathan is Saul's son, and Saul was that's right, first human king of Israel, right? So Saul is king and has a son, Jonathan, and that means that Jonathan is royal blood, right? If we think about family lines and how monarchies transfer power down through the generations, right? So technically, Jonathan had the worldly bloodline type of authority to take up the kingship, but because Jonathan loved David and saw that David was supposed to be king, he totally saw him as Yahweh's anointed. So Jonathan gave allegiance to David, right? We didn't see Jonathan being any sort of political rival for David, and that's a wonderful thing. But Jonathan's son, Mephibosheth, also in that same bloodline, still could have some clout, could have some worldly, hey, I'm the bloodline of the original king, I have the right to the throne just like David does type attitude. But David doesn't care that he could be that way. He says, I want to help out Jonathan's line. I want to show kindness to somebody of Saul's line who's still alive. And Ziva, who I guess is Jonathan's servant or one of Saul's servants, who has 15 sons and 20 servants. So Ziva has a huge household and a huge amount of people and could back Mephibosheth in some sort of political war. He's like, Mephibosheth is still alive, and David's like, bring him to me. I want him to eat at my table. It's just a beautiful thing that David wants this quasi-could-be political rival to sit at his table and eat with him as his own family, just because he loved Jonathan and cared about Saul's line just as well. It's just a beautiful story where David is not afraid to sit at the same table and wants to show that kindness and generosity. So good marks for David in that story. However, a couple chapters later, we get into the David and Bathsheba, and we don't get the whole resolution with it today, but David sleeps with this woman who's not his wife, who belongs to another guy, Uriah the Hittite, who is one of David's mighty men and who is fighting. There's something that we don't always consider, but it's kind of funny. I guess funny is the wrong word, but it's kind of in your face that when David calls Uriah back home, he says, "Hey, go home, eat, drink, be restful, enjoy your wife," type of thing. And Uriah's response is like, if Joab is on the front line and the Ark of the Covenant is in the tent and all of these men are sleeping in the open field and they're all in dangerous positions, how could I be back here just enjoying myself? Right? It's almost like in your face, David. You, David, in the time where kings go to war, you should be out there on the front line too, right? It's almost like Uriah is throwing it in David's face. And then David kind of gets him back where David has Uriah take the letter to Joab, right? David writes a letter to Joab saying, "Hey, get Uriah killed, take him to the front line and draw back and let Uriah die." And he puts that letter in Uriah's hand to take to Joab. And so there's this little like back and forth here between Uriah and David, and so it's not quite that irrational, shall we say, that David's fine to let Uriah die because they have a little spat back and forth right there in the middle anyway, but we're going to see how that resolves tomorrow. But I hope I've given you something to think about, or at least maybe a different perspective on this story, and I hope you take it with you as you have a wonderful day.